And I'd like to finish off by showing you guys a third-party tool called ngui. So let's go ahead and create a new scene. And then from the window menu, let's go to Asset Store. Inside here, let's search for ngui. And then let's click on ngui. So as you can see, ngui is an alternative to the built-in graphic user interface tools that Unity provides, and many developers prefer it. We will be using ngui to complete our game template in the last few modules, but don't worry, there is a free version that has the basic features we will be using in this course. The version that you see here in the Asset Store is the full version, which I recommend you purchase if you would like to use it in a published production. The free version is a bit older, and so the editor interface might have some differences, since I am using the full version in the course. But like I said before, all the features required are there, so you should be able to follow along. If you are uncertain about using ngui, keep in mind that Unity has showcased the next major GUI update, which will be the next generation UI, or ngui, possibly in Unity 4.5 or 5, which was announced March 18th, 2014. Just head over to the ngui website to download the free version and then run the package to install it into your project. Okay, so I've gone ahead and added ngui. And to get started, there is a new ngui menu. Let's click that, hit create, and let's start with a label. As you can see, it created a complex game object hierarchy, starting from UI root, down to its own camera, which is a GUI camera. It's essentially the same as the main camera, except some of the settings have been changed. Then there's an anchor to specify where the label is going to get attached to. In this case, it's the center. And then a panel which contains different ngui components, in this case our label. Now what we're missing is a font, and a font is actually taken from an atlas. So for this video, we're just going to grab one of the atlases that's provided with the demo. So we'll go with fantasy. And so now if I hit play, we should see new label, which is what we have in our text here. So what I'm going to do at this point is recreate what we had with our original Unity GUI. So let's add a new script, and we'll call this ngui health. So let's start by creating a reference to our ngui label. In this case, it's called UI label. And let's set the reference by using a get component of type UI label. So when this script is attached to the game object, it's going to search the game object for a component or script called UI label and then set reference to it. Then as a quick test, I'm just going to set the label.text to hello world. So in Unity, I'm going to add the script, and let's give that a go. There it is, hello world. Okay, so next I'd like to add a button that damages the health. So let's go over to ngui, open, widget wizard, and let's select the atlas, the same atlas we had before, the fantasy atlas from examples. And let's select a font, fantasy font, and over here we'll add a button, and let's select a background for our button. So we can go with this, and we're going to add it to our panel. There we go. So if we run this, we can see the button has covered the label. So let's stop it and go over to the scene view, select the button, and just move it down a bit. And what you can do to align the view in your scene view is, again, go into isometric and then just make sure you're viewing towards the z-axis. And then it should look similar to what your game sees. So let's rename the button text to damage. Alright, and back in our ngui health script, let's add a onClick function. And again, let's create a health float and default it to 100. And then in our onClick, we'll set our label text to our health.toString. And then before it, we will decrease our health by 10. And I'm just going to clean it up a little. So I've removed some of the unnecessary functions. Also, since I'm listening for the onClick event, this script now needs to be on the button object. So I can no longer use getComponent to get reference to the UI label since that's now on a different object. So what I'll do is I'll make this public and I'll actually end up dragging it inside Unity. So back in Unity, let's begin by removing the script from our label and let's add it to our button. And then let's drag in the label into the label reference we created. And now if we hit play, we should be able to damage our health.